Hello everyone, welcome back to some more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time, we managed to scrape our way through that, the summation examination, and, but unfortunately Van Zeeks isn't done yet. He called in the next witnesses, the two people that actually saw the crime occur, Patricia and Rolly Beats. And yeah, we've just been kind of analyzing their testimony up to this point until we found a new thing, namely this. I could even tell you the names of the 4 books he dropped. Well, let's listen then. Yes, we know that there were books dropped off at the scene of the crime, as you say. Sorry, I'm just checking everything for a second. Alright, good. Those purchased by the accused at the nearby second-hand bookshop on the day in question. Oh yeah, I like this voice for her, so I think I'll use it. After I'd been to the police box for help, I decided to have a good look over the area for good measure. Oh crap, I don't think I can do the voice again. Whatever. I'm a proud policeman's wife after all. I did it for Rowley. And what was your husband doing at the time? Oh, he was lying face down in the snow, getting some well-deserved rest. He works ever so hard, you know. Ever so hard. Don't you, my darling? Interesting way of guarding the scene of the crime.
Well, Mrs. Beat, seeing as how you've regaled the court with tales of your powers of recollection, would you be so kind as to recount the titles of the books you observed at the scene?
I'd be happy to. Now, are you all listening? There was The Picture of Monsieur Somebody or Other, and What's It Yearnings. Then there was, A Meal for Someone, and the last thing was definitely the Gummy Something. Okay, that's wrong because... First off, The Picture, A Meal, and Yearnings, got that, but the last book, what's it called? He only ordered 3 books. Where did the last one come from? You see? Yes, I see there are 1 or 2 holes in your memory. Oh well, they were along those lines, I'm quite sure.
There were indeed books found at the scene with titles along those lines, as you put it.
Well, what did I tell you? So I think it's very mean the way you've been implying that my testimony can't be trusted. Don't you agree, darling?
Anyone who says my Patricia will have me to answer to.
Bro, what is that pea shooter? Like... I don't know, that's really small. It seemed like it would break after like a few shots.
Terrifying.
Yes, she really is. Alright, we went through this already, so I think we can already assume what to do here. As I said earlier, the problem isn't the fact that, it's not the fact that the names she was remembering were wrong, it's that she's remembering one more book that shouldn't have been there. So let's skip on over here.
Objection!
There it is. So, you're saying that there were 4 books? That's right! I remember all of them! The Picture of Monsieur Somebody, What's It Yearnings, A Meal for Someone, and The Gummy Something. I'm sorry, Mrs. Beat, but there is a fundamental flaw in that statement of yours. Oh no! What flaw? Simply that, at the scene of the crime, there were only 3 books, not 4. What? This is the receipt from the bookshop where the defendant bought his books. Your books. Yes, and it details Mr. Natsume's purchases that day. But, as you can see, only 3 books are listed.
Only 3? But no, that can't be. I remember seeing them. There were 4 books, I tell you. 4 dirty old books.
Oh, really? Have a good look at the photographic print of the scene of the crime. As you can clearly see from this evidence as well, there are only 3 books.
But I just don't believe it. I saw them there. I swear it. I saw them.
No, madam, I'm afraid your powers of observation cannot be relied upon. So, it cannot be denied that though you say it was the defendant you saw, you could very well be mistaken.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, wow. That seemed a bit too easy.
Objection!
Never mind.
It's plainly evident that it is your powers of deduction that cannot be relied upon, my learned Nipponese friend.
What?
What cannot be denied is that these 2 witnesses saw the accused running from the scene. A fact that you know very well you have no hope of disproving. So, you've striven to avert attention from that by dint of some inconsequential discrepancies. Would that be fair?
He sees right through me.
But your plan has somewhat recoiled against you.
What are you talking about?
It's quite simple. Let me explain with a toast. To the policeman's wife and her entirely accurate testimony in every respect.
Why am I messing up voices all of a sudden? What is going on here?
Oh.
You see, the matter is not up for debate. At the scene on Briar Road, a total of 4 books were most definitely found.
Objection.
But what about the photographic print? It only shows 3 books.
Quite right. Only 3 can be seen in that print.
That print? You mean to say...
Allow me to present another, one that shows the victim's hand.
I don't believe it. It's the 4th book. The Lion's Pride. Huh. I think we've heard of that somewhere before.
As you will observe, the 4th book was hidden from view in the original print by the victim's torso.
No. Yeah? You're just gonna hide that from us from the very beginning? No, really, just like, oh, there were 4 books. No, there were 3. The picture only shows 3. Yeah, sorry, there was actually a 4th book in this photograph. Really? And you just have that up your sleeve, waiting for me to fall in the trap, essentially, huh?
Order! Order!
There, you see? You see? Look at that! Look!
Yes.
It's just like I said, isn't it, my darling?
Yes, sir. Patricia's always right, sir. Let us study the receipt for the books purchased by the accused on the day in question. Mrs. Beat, the titles once again, if you please.
Oh, yes, of course. The picture of Monsieur somebody or other.
The picture of Monsieur Lecoq.
What's it, yearnings?
Canterbury yearnings.
A meal for someone?
A meal for Gabriel, in fact. As the court has just heard, the witness remembers the book titles flawlessly, save for a few minor details. Mrs. Beat's powers of recollection can only be described as exceptional.
Did you hear that, Rowley? The gentleman paid me a compliment.
Yes, sir. Flawless, sir. Patricia is flawless.
But, there are only 3 books on the receipt, and Mrs. Beat mentioned 4. There's nothing surprising about that. Clearly, the 4th book is that which is shown in this photographic print.
I'm so sorry, Counsel, but does that not seem odd? Why should the 4th book be omitted from the receipt?
It's not odd at all, my lord. As the photographic print clearly shows, the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, it belongs to the victim. The victim was holding her own book?
I wonder, what became of that 4th book?
Obviously, it wasn't overlooked by the investigating officers at Scotland Yard. I have it here as evidence. Yo, what is going on with my voice, with my throat now? Seriously. Whatever. Wait a second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, just something stopped me there, but seriously, what is going on with my voice now? It's like I can't get back the voices. Oh well.
You will submit that and the aforementioned photographic print to the court, please, Counsel.
My pleasure, my lord. The second crime scene photograph, yeah, man? And the 4th book, the so-called Lion's Pride. Let's see this book, because in the photographic print it looks a bit damaged. And if it's what I remember... Oh, yeah, look at this. These are burn marks. Why would she be carrying around a book with literal burn marks? A book that she can't read.
Oh, look at this. The book has been badly burnt.
You're right. You'd never be able to read it in this state, especially not the latter pages.
What a terrible waste. Judging from the scorched edges of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently.
Huh. A book. Recently damaged by fire. Why does that seem to raise a red flag with me? Look at that, okay. So this... Okay, fine, I'll say it. This is more than likely the book from... the book that Gary Dub lost, because... Sorry. Hold up a second again. Okay, there. Hopefully my voices will work a lot better then. But as I was saying though, this is obviously the book from Mr. Garridub's house, because he said he lost the Lion's Pride, plus the burn marks on this, basically the same thing. Huh. The question is though, how did it end up in the victim's hand? Thing. The prosecution rests. I have nothing further to add. What? You seem surprised, my learned friend. But your resistance until now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes, but futile. The spurious longer route to the accused lodgings that you tried to establish in your summation examination, and the attempted discrediting of the witness's powers of recollection in your cross-examination. Futile? Oh, wait. Oh. Okay, that was weird how they put it. Futile? Oh, jeez. I walked right into this, didn't I?
You see? Everything we've said is true. Isn't that right, my darling?
Yes, Pat. Marry me, Pat.
So, perhaps the ladies and gentlemen of the jury would like to reconsider their positions? Should the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty? Or is the decision you have to make all too apparent already? Again? You have heard all of the witnesses and seen all of the evidence. This trial has run its course.
Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid we are in a terribly precarious position.
I know, but if I fight back in the wrong way now, I could very well just make matters worse. Or they're gonna get worse either way. Let's just raise an objection, because if we wait and see, I mean...
Objection!
I'm not done yet. No, my learned friend. It's over. That last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast. There is no more room for debate. Well, it might be over as far as you're concerned, but... I can't think of what to say.
If I may, Lord Van Zeeks, it seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point.
Your insignificant little Eastern Isle must be a lawless hole indeed, for a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene at a moment like this. Oh. Yeah? He dared? I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So, you will have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable.
Mr. Naruhodo.
One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance. So, the court will hear you, madam.
Go ahead, Mr. Sato. Please. Very well. Pray, what insight can you give us? What have we all overlooked in this matter that you see fit to pursue further?
Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after that last cross-examination finished.
I see. And you believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you?
Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think? It's just possible that this new evidence might be the decisive proof we've been waiting for. The judge is sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their learnings in a moment. And of course, he's sure to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is and why. So, we must take this opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible.
Which we did, don't worry about that. Yes, I understand. And thank you, Miss Susato. This is it. Susato-san has managed to win us one last chance here. I can't let it go to waste. The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord.
Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence that apparently offers profound insight.
Easily, the fourth book.
Take that!
The evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print of the crime scene. Namely, the fourth book, found in the victim's hand.
Objection!
We have already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of the court's time, as you well know.
Yes. I'm afraid, counsel, I must concur with the prosecution on this matter. When I afforded you this opportunity, you led the court to believe that the evidence in question contained a hitherto undiscovered clue. So, I must insist that you elaborate, counsel. You will identify this clue at once. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, my lord. It's, Mr. Naruhodo, I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence. Yeah, because anyone with a brain, anyone with 2 hands or 2 feet can just turn the thing around and see the problem. Which means you may very well be on the right track.
Yes, I think you might be right.
So, counsel, precisely where is the vital clue to this case, which this 4th book conceals?
Okay. It's literally right behind it.
Got it!
I mean, that is small, so if you were looking at it normally, you probably wouldn't see it. I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question.
The back? What are you... Good gracious! It's been burnt to a crisp!
So, we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It is undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing.
Objection!
Unnatural, you say? And what's of it, my Nipponese friend? Oh. Were I to concede the point, if it bears no relation to the case, there is nothing to discuss. So, should you wish to assert that this fire damage is some veiled clue as to what happened that day, pray, do enlighten us all. What the truth does this charred book hide? A charred book. There is just one possibility here, which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory.
Don't keep us waiting any longer then, counsel. Explain this theory of yours. What are you suggesting that you can ascertain from the fire damage this sorry tome has suffered?
Easy. Its owner. My lord, the burn on the back of this book reveals a startling truth about the book's owner.
I beg your pardon?
But we already know who the book belongs to. The victim was gripping it in her hand as she fell to the floor. After all, it's obviously hers.
The question of how the book came to be in the victim's hand has yet to be answered. However, as to the questions of who the book really belongs to and where it originated, the defense has very credible answers.
Good gracious! How can you possibly...
Very well. I'll play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. But do remember, the members of the jury may very well burn you if your little gamble goes awry.
Counsel, the defense's response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So tell the court, please, who do you claim is the owner of this burnt book?
Easy.
Take that!
The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who own the house where the defendant has his lodgings. A certain Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb. The landlords! And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know. But, of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for jury duty in this courtroom today is none other than Miss Garadeb herself.
Oh my goodness. Me? I think you must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mr. Garadeb's wife. I'm his maid.
Things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretense. Alright then, how about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garredab's house?
I would never presume to know all the books he keeps, sir.
What do you mean you never what do you mean? You're his maid. Don't you dust off his bookshelf? Like, shouldn't you see the books as you're dusting it off? Like...
Objection!
This is outlandish behavior. This woman is the accused landlady, you say. You implicate this hard-working member of the public. You besmirch her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable.
Objection!
This is not mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mrs. Garredab's house.
Good lord! What sort of incident, counsel?
A fire, my lord.
Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a body thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course, but Bally's furniture started going up as well. The worst of it is, I lost my favorite, a book called The Lion's Pride.
The Lion's Pride.
By Jove! The very same title that's the subject of this debate.
Oh, dear me.
Objection!
This is risible. All you told the court is that a book by the same name was involved in a fire, in which case it would be reasonable to assume that it was burnt to ashes, and entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself to the scene of the crime. Perhaps it would make more sense if I had told you the cause of the fire was marital discord. Without going into details, it appears that Mrs. Garredab was considerably enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Garredab even amid the flames.
Oh, how awful. I can't even imagine being so horrid to the one you love. Can you, Rolly?
Wait 10 years.
Absolutely not, sir. My Patricia would never raise a finger against me, sir.
Again, dare I say, just wait 10 years.
I had all my favourite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. Then the wife started hurling things at me. There was I, back up against the window, under heavily enemy fire. Incendiary books incoming 10 to the dozen. The man had his back up against the window, and he had burning books thrown at him. Goodness gracious! Are you suggesting that the book was thrown through a window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime?
Objection!
No! A thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted at the very evening of the incident, and there was no report of the Garredab's window pane being broken. Well, yeah, it was opened. I mean, if there was a fire, the area would have been filled with smoke, so you had to open the window. That's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Garredab household. But is it not conceivable that the window was open at the time and... Not even remotely. Let us not forget that the season and the chilling weather that accompanies it. No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter.
Does the defense postulate this scenario in all seriousness, counsel? Do you earnestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mrs. Garredab's wife?
I believe it's a possibility, my lord. That's quite enough. Who said that? Who said that? Oh!
Well, I hope that everyone can see you for what you are now, you little foreign trickster. You call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward. A mean coward.
Really?
Claiming that our little tiff set the whole neighborhood alight. Honestly. Implying that I'm merely posing a maid for appearance's sake. How could you? It's nothing to do with this beastly case. Not any of it. All you've done is sully our family's name.
Aren't you proving my point that you are his wife, though? No, I assure you that was never my intention.
Dragging an upstanding citizen's name through the mud simply to divert attention from your own failing defense. I should box your ears, that's what I should do. It's utterly unforgivable.
Too right.
Here we go.
How long have we sat here now, listening to this Nipponese spouting out his fancy foreign theories? But, think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could have possibly stabbed the victim is that little hunchback with the mustache, and he ran away from the scene too.
I do declare that you're right.
It's true.
Yes, what did I tell you?
Makes sense to me. Sorry, was that? Well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord Van Zeeks?
In truth, my lord, I feel these have been unnecessarily protracted proceedings. But then, one must always exercise patience in order to savour the best vintage. No, wait. The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't been... If books are your predilection, my learned friend, study them on your own time. What? No, forgive the discourtesy this time?
Ahem. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the defendant's culpability for the court to hear.
Guilty!
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Again? Oh my god.
Thank you for that unambiguous response.
That's twice now. It's over.
Mr. Naruhodo, don't give up.
Huh? Miss Susato?
Have you forgotten? The battle isn't over yet.
You're not suggesting...
Of course, the defense has the right to another summation examination at this point.
We do? What? That seems a bit overpowered, doesn't it? I mean... Whenever, what's it called? We're basically... Sorry, I had to do my in-video yawn. Anyways, yeah, whenever we do... whenever we're like about to lose, you just call it the summation examination as many times as you like to not lose. Like, really? That seems a bit OP if you ask me.
You can still convince the jurors to change their minds. You have one more chance.
My lord, the defense acts to exercise its right to summation examination. Humph. You believe you still have tricks up your sleeve? I don't intend to trick anybody. I intend to uncover the truth. This is no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, I have to stay strong and determined. Alright, wow. We'll continue on forward, though. It's, what, 9:50? We're only 34 minutes in, so I don't really want to make this a smaller video. I'd rather go as far as I can, so guess I'll be going till like 10:30 now. Aw, wait, no. I'll be going till 10:20. So yeah, I'll probably go for like 20 more minutes or so. There, I like my videos to be at least 50 minutes long. Anyways, let's get started once again, shall we?
I have considered the defense's counsel request for a further summation examination of the jury, and I have determined that the court must uphold the defense's judicial right to this procedure. So, counsel, you will now proceed with your second summation examination. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman?
We are, my lord.
Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime.
Alright. Let's do this. The jurors' contentions. The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his.
If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider.
Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it?
Dearie me, it was only a little book, hardly life-threatening even with a direct hit.
Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tidy bit of trouble.
Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes.
Wait, what? What? What was that voice for him? No. Oh God, no.
Oh, yes. Considerably more tangible arguments from all members of the jury this time around, it seems. With one notable exception, of course.
My learned student friend was unable to find fault in the previous witness testimony. So, the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. And moreover, no one else was even at the scene to commit the crime. Oh, so restrictions, yes. That's true. In other words, we can't disprove that it wasn't him running away, and we also cannot disprove that there was anyone else at the scene.
Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion was somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it could be argued any other way.
That means, I'm afraid that during this summation examination, it is essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts.
But how? What would even constitute a tangible explanation here? Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman, and how? Those 2 details are all you need provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted. And there I was thinking this might be hard.
But Mr. Naruhodo, you have to do it. Otherwise, this really will be where the trial ends.
No pressure then.
That's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please. I presume you are prepared, counsel?
Oh, yes, my lord. Alright, Ryunosuke. Focus your mind now. Clearly, the key to this summation examination is going to be juror number 4, the maid, or should I say, Mrs. Garadeb.
We have a book that disappeared from the Garadeb's house on the evening of the incident, and the 4th book found in the victim's hand.
There must be a way to link the 2. Yes, That's what we have to find. Using every technique I've learned in my short career so far. Whatever it takes.
Don't forget to keep an eye on Miss Garrett and how she reacts, even to the things other people say.
Oh. Thanks for the hint, Susato. Okay. This will probably be the last thing we do this episode, because I feel like it's going to take a while. Alright, first thing we gotta do. Let's just talk straight to Miss Garrett, see what she gotta say.
Hold it!
But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not?
With flames of love, I'll have you know.
There's really no such thing as a loving incendiary bomb. Oh, I didn't notice. He dodged it.
Well, he brought it upon himself. Is playing with fire to betray a fiery love, isn't it? Well, don't you agree?
Any kind of betrayal is certainly a bad thing, yes. But I think the argument might have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Mrs. Garrett.
Never you mind that. The point is, we're just having a jovial little dispute. Nothing more.
Then you admit you're his wife.
And I won't have any more of these suggestions that it was anything whatsoever to do with this crime.
Right. Well, we'll see about that. But what about jury number 5? He doesn't seem to be turning a hair at Mrs. Garrett's relentless onslaughts.
It's almost as though he's used to it. What a gentle soul he is.
Yeah, gentle.
Hold it!
Let's talk to him. You just want to get this over with? How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at stake here. Him and me both then, like I said before. What? I told you already, I'm a day laborer, aren't I? If I don't bring home some Reddies, is that Reddies or Reedies? With me tonight, you'll find me floating face down in the Thames tomorrow morning. What? You heard me. My missus isn't one to mess about, you know. She can be fierce, believe you me. Another shining example of marital bliss, then. A situation like this cropped up the other day. It was, you know, it's funny, but I can't quite remember. Sorry? It was too frightening, that's the thing. I must have blocked it out. Wow, helpful.
I wonder if Mr. B will ever be dragged into the Thames by a scarf.
Don't even go there, Miss Susato. There must be some way to jog his memory about this. Oh, okay. And I know for a fact the old one's testimony is important. Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case?
Hurry! What was that? You'll have to speak up, lad.
Could you tell us more about that fire?
It was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles on the top, it did. What a sight to behold it was.
You put candles on a cake? Was it some kind of devil worship?
Of course not. It was an angel cake. To celebrate my birthday, obviously.
Wow, how appropriate. An angel cake for a 75-year-old. Wait, 75 candles? The thing was filled up.
It seems that it's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruhodo.
Anyway, I mustered all my puff to blow them out. Only, I must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but the candles went flying all over the room.
Good God, how hard were you blowing, old man?
The furniture caught and everything went up. The whole place was filled with smoke.
Definitely sounds like devil worship to me. And by the sneezes, I presume you meant a cold? But how did you catch a cold from the fire?
What a fiasco it was! The grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. And then, because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows to clear it.
The windows?
The biting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave, it did. I caught a terrible cold from it. Put me in the hospital for a while. I won't forget that but day in a hurry.
I knew it was devil worship all along. But something about this old man's story is playing on my mind for some reason. Alright, so we gotta remember that. The window, which is basically what I was saying earlier. Because the smoke from the fire was a lot, someone had to open the window or else they'd die of smoke inhalation. So we already know what to do here. Oh, another hint, okay. We don't necessarily need to find contradictions. We just need to find a connection. Got it. Left behind at the scene. Her thing is needed, I think. Throwing books can't be related to if the window is closed. Huh. Okay, let's pit these two together, because I already know this would work.
Objection!
These two jurors' statements clearly contradict one another.
They do? How exactly, counsel?
Don't point at me again. I told you, it wasn't me.
Huh? What's that you say? Speak up, lad, speak up!
Juror number 3. Don't you see?
Oh, me? See what, sir?
Did you hear juror number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of a winter.
Well, yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, then you'd be mad not to open the... Oh!
Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Gerardab household, and Mr. Gerardab had the following to say about it. The whole place was filled with smoke.
Oh my!
Oh my!
Oh, my hats! Oh, got you right there.
Excuse me!
Juror number 4, do you have anything to say about that? Also, I didn't know the jurors got their own portraits. Oh, they're not shown here, but I never knew the jurors got their own portraits. Also, can I say, literally, best portraits in the game is Van Zeke's portrait and Strongheart's portrait. Seriously, like, oh my god, like, look at Strongheart. You can literally see the, what's it called? The, like, power, like him just towering over you. And then with, like, Van Zeke, you just see he's, like, serious as ever. Mrs. Gerardab.
Oh, dearie me! What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I really am?
Then why did you answer? It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, time to drop the pretense now.
What is it?
When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window?
Well, I beg your pardon? What are you insinuating?
The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it is inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened a window.
And what if we did? Oh, alright then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which can't have been easy since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering.
Even though your house was on fire?
Oh, you never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise.
Of course, I should have realized.
That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. You've managed to establish that the window was open. We simply
Must have that added to Mrs. Garrett's formal statement.
The window was open, but I'd clean forgotten. Okay. Oh, okay. I don't exactly know what to look at here. Let's talk to Mrs. Garrett again. The fourth book found at the scene of the crime shows very obvious signs of fire damage. And the title of the book is The Lion's Pride. The same title, in fact, as the book that Mr. Garrett told us he had been reading.
Well, I really couldn't say.
Really? On the day in question, did you or did you not throw at your husband a copy of The Lion's Pride that he'd been reading?
I did.
Yeah?
It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. And now you come to mention it, yes. He was rather enjoying reading it, you're right.
Why did you not reveal this information to the court from the outset?
Because I couldn't, you insolent little man. I didn't remember. At times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you could lay your hands on. As well you know.
I really don't.
I barely noticed I was throwing a book, much less the title of it.
Ooh, what we got here, juror number
Excuse me.
5? What is it, juror number 5?
You know something? I've remembered what it was. That memory got blocked out.
Ah,
I was listening to what this granny was saying. Brought it all flooding back.
okay, Granny, really? Her hair isn't even white. She's only 38. She's 38. What are you talking about, Granny? Mr. Garrett's more of a grandpa than...
Brought it all flooding back.
Who are you calling a granny, you cheeky daredab? You cheeky...
Daredab, okay.
Who are you calling a granny, you cheeky devil? I'm Mrs. Garrett, or the maid, I'll have you know.
The man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's so used to being hit all the time.
It was about 2 weeks ago now. I just got back after work, like.
I'd put my hand in my pocket for the wages I just earned that day, and I nearly died. There was a hole. Every last penny had dropped out. Oh dear, what a disaster.
You haven't heard the half of it, boy.
Oh?
The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. I could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight. I've lost the day's wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ear. Stuck into the wall next to me it did, about 1 inch deep.
Oh, snap.
No words, just terror. I could smell it then, you know. That god-awful stench of the Thames. I was sure I was going to end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I can tell you. Now, that's a real disaster, isn't it?
I'll never use the word lightly again.
Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When women lose their rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it.
Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't think that all women are so short-tempered and unrefined.
This coming from the girl who literally flipped me 3 different times because she thought I was guilty. No, I wasn't thinking that.
Throwing household objects at people is, well, it's so uncivilized. At least attack with honor, using a bow or the like.
I mean, if you think about it, using a bow is literally throwing an arrow at someone, so... What? Attack? Who are you going to attack?
Never mind. Anyway, this man's words could be rather significant, I think.
Alright, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later, if I dare. Alright, we have our next piece of thing, I think. We got 5 minutes, let's dance. This one was a bit hard for me to get the first time. Well, not hard, but she's asking if there was some novel alternative explanation as to why the victim was stabbed. As such, these two statements have a significant connection.
Good grief. You mean they don't contradict each other? Explain, counsel, at once!
Juror number 2. Do you think perhaps that this could be one such novel alternative?
Oh my! Whatever do you mean?
An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back.
What are you talking about?
We've demonstrated that the fourth book, The Lion's Pride, that was found at the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Garrett's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garrett household to the street below.
What's that now?
After all, Mrs. Garrett could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4?
What are you insinuating now, you little beanpole?
I'm beginning to think that, ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps she's had a feeling this might be what happened. Oh, she thought, that actually makes sense. And then she's just being angry. She's just being angry because she just doesn't want to admit it or wants to cover it up. Now you listen here, you Eastern Galah. As foreman of the jury, I demand a straight answer. You give us this yarn about some other object making its way out of the house. But what was it? Phew, I'm really taking a big gamble here. That was a bold accusation to make, but I don't have any real evidence to back it up. But I'm certain that at the very least this warrants further investigation. Alright, Mr. Foreman, I'll try to explain the defense's theory. The other object that found its way from the Garrett household to the scene of the crime was, more than likely, the jackknife.
Take that!
Juror number 4, Mrs. Garrett.
What now?
I must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before?
Good Lord, counsel! What on earth are you doing? That's the weapon that was lodged into the victim's back! Man! Oh, man!
My lord, remember when the victim was attacked? Mr. and Mrs. Garrett were in the throes of an argument. Mrs. Garrett was hurling anything she could at her husband, who'd been backed up against the window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, and through which a book sailed to land at the crime scene.
You can't seriously believe that?
The book was found in the victim's grasp. Are you saying that it flew out of the window and across the street to land neatly in her hand?
Oh, even my missus hasn't got a name like that.
Yes, I admit, there are many details we don't understand. But that's the point. That's precisely why we must not allow this trial to end. Not right now.
Oh my.
Mrs. Garrett, your answer, please. Have you seen this knife before or not? Oh, she fainted. Wow.
My lord? Oh. I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman of my word, after all.
Thank you, madam. Yes, I agree. I certainly didn't see this coming, but I just don't think it would be right for this trial to come to an end now with so many unanswered questions.
Mr. Foreman.
I'd have to agree. Not that I think the granny did it, mind.
Yes, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this I'm not quite happy about this at the moment either.
All together now, ladies and gentlemen.
Juror number 6 still hasn't changed his meeting. But whatever. I guess that's the majority, isn't it?
We did it.
Oh, congratulations, Mr. Naruhodo.
So, as a result of this defense's summation examination, a number of the jurors' leadings have changed. 2 jurors called guilty against 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this court is divided, and this trial will continue.
Alright. Clap and a half. And no argument from Van Zeeks? Fresh. Alright, though. I think this is the best place to end things off. So, next time on the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Adventures, we are going to continue on. Yeah, for the most part, the case is over, but there is still a few more kinks and stuff we have to iron out, if I remember correctly. So, this case will either be over next episode or the episode after that. Huh. That's weird, because then, if I remember correctly, case 5 should take us a while too, right? So, okay. Sorry, I'm just thinking here, because we're already on episode what, 25, 26. So case 5 should take us to episode like 30s, maybe 40s. Wow. Oh my God! Wait a second. That's right. There's Resolve to do. I'm still not sure if I'm gonna play Adventures or Resolve. So, oh my God, because if we go into Resolve, then that's like double the length. That's 60 episodes. Oh my God. Sorry, it's just the longest series I've done was GTA 5, and even then, that was like what, 40 minutes an episode? Oh my God. I'm literally giving out movies at this rate. Whatever though. Anyways, I will see you all next time.